How's it going, everybody? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and non-binary pals, whoever you are, welcome to my channel. Hope you all enjoy your stay here. If it's temporary or forever, I hope you enjoy it. I don't know why I did that intro, but sort of, I felt like doing something different for some reason. But today I'm going to be talking about Berserk. More Berserk videos, like I said before. I'm going to be talking about Berserk and just all the arcs in general. I'm going to be doing a tier list for it because surprisingly, it has enough arcs to make a tier list. It's one of the shorter ones for sure. Like you take a look at all these, like the only one that really compares is the Lost Belt one, and then after that you just get behemoths on top of behemoths like that one over there. Disgusting, bro. But Berserk had enough, so I was like, you know what? I want to talk about it because my opinions have changed for certain arcs, and I made two tier lists. I made best arcs tier list, and I made my favorites tier list because I consider those two different things. So what I consider the best ones differs from what I like the most. So if you agree disagree, let me know in the comments below. What do you think is the best period versus what do you think is your favorite period? And if they don't differ, then why is that and stuff like that? How do you feel? All that stuff. Just let me know in the comments below. But yeah, let me start with the best arcs first. So first one is Lost Children. I think is the worst, and I if you can tell from the color scheme, I also made them from blue upwards because no arc in Berserk is really like green and below, at least in terms of how I like them. To me, it's always just like light blue onwards, so like a 7.5 to a 10, white being like peak basically. And Lost Children to me, in terms of the best tier list, is probably the worst out of all of them, but not in a sense of like, oh, this is bad, this is an ugly duckling that sticks out. No, it's Lost Children's good. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It's cool. It's interesting. It gives us a little folk tale in between the story. We just get to see more of Puck and Guts, so we just get to see what happens. So, Lost Children again. It has a lot of good stuff in it. It's short and to the point. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It's like 30 chapters or around there. It's short. It's definitely short, enough to be its own arc, which is crazy, right? But at the same time, it makes sense why, because this is the prelude to the conviction arc. So it's a it's a slow start, but it does get going, and I think the fight in the Lost Children arc, the final fight, was really cool. I enjoyed it a lot, and honestly, the early arcs in Berserk, I feel like the fighting was the best for me because I can't see what's going on in the fights anymore in the present like Berserk arcs. I don't know what's happening because the art was too good, and that it basically hurt my eyes to look at some points because it's like I don't know what's happening. It looks like pure pandemonium and chaos. And I'm also just not good at reading movements in terms of like, oh, in a manga, what is he doing with his sword? I don't know. I can't tell. Even if you put motion on it, I can't tell what's happening. So it's just like, oh, it's kind of wasted on me, which sucks. But it is what it is. Lost Children, though, I feel like compared to other shows, would be one of the show's best arcs because of how quality it is. But in terms of the other stuff in Berserk, Lost Children to me is like, eh, it's all right. It has good parts, but when it's all right, it's just okay at best. But when it's good, it's really good. So for me, Lost Children, bottom of the tier list. Next, Black Swordsman. I really enjoy Black Swordsman. You're gonna see in my other tier list where I rank it, but Black Swordsman for me is a really good arc because it's the beginning of the manga, and what an introduction to have where Guts is quote unquote having sex with a demon that he kills afterwards, and it's just like this is wild, depraved, and perverted, but it's cool. I can't even lie to you guys. Like it's cool. Black Swordsman is the epitome of yo. This guy is so fire, and he's so edgy too. But like it's in the '80s, so it's not as bad. Like you don't have like my name is Guts from Berserk, and I like to kill demons and have sex. It's just like no, this is Guts. He kills demons. He kills apostles, and he fights them. So this is what he is. This is what we are introduced to. And while it may seem like he's just a don't care, very edgy, mean spirited, and sometimes even evil person at times, we get glimpses of him not being that person. And it's because Puck is there, right? Like, we get to meet Puck as well through this arc. We get to see the Count and his daughter. We get to meet the apostles and see everything that's happening. And it's just a crazy introduction to a crazy story that only gets crazier from this point forward. I genuinely enjoy Black Swordsman, and I feel like as an introduction, it's one of the best introductions I've ever read. It had me engaged from start to finish, and it's vulgar, it's vile, it can get kind of crazy. Same with Lost Children. I forgot to mention that, but Black Swordsman is good enough to be like, yo, I don't really care. Like, this is the story at this point. So I'm just gonna disregard that and just leave it be. But Black Swordsman, I love it. I think it's a great arc. Honestly, fire introduction to Berserk's ever expanding story and universe. It really just it shows us the God Hand. It shows us Femto. It shows us all the or not all the apostles, but apostles. It shows us what can really happen in this universe with like an eclipse level event. Like, it's crazy. It's just it shows us the world of Berserk, and I love it for that reason. But next, Conviction Arc. Conviction Arc is what comes after Golden Age, and oh my goodness, it's fire. It comes well actually, excuse me. It comes after Lost Children. Lost Children comes after Golden Age. Golden Age comes after Black Swordsman, and Conviction Arc comes after Lost Children. And Conviction Arc has its ups and its downs for me. Arguably, it is a better arc than Black Swordsman, but for me, it's not my favorite. You'll see why later on in the other tier list, but Conviction Arc is a really good arc. It is better than Black Swordsman and Lost Children. To me, it's not better than Falcon with the Millennium Empire, Fantasia, or Golden Age, but Conviction Arc is really good. One thing I don't like about it though, like I rated it really high in my video that I made on like almost 2 months ago. I've changed my opinion on it. I think it's good, but I don't think it's the best arc. Like coming close to Golden Age, I think it's good enough. You know, I don't like the way it ended. I think it was just like it was a little weird for me because I just thought having another Eclipse level event that was similar to the eclipses, like directly after the eclipse as well. Granted, that's also me binging this manga. So to me, the eclipse didn't happen that long ago. To me, it happened a week ago. So it's like, oh, I'm kind of like, but it's the eclipse again, basically, but not in the same way. It is similar, but it's not the same. I gotta give it its credit. It's just to me, it was too similar to where I was like, it feels like I don't know. It feels like it's too early for this. It feels like another eclipse event like that shouldn't take place this soon. But that's also me having recency bias, where I literally read the manga a week ago. So this probably took like 10 years to write. So I'm not even surprised that I feel like that because it's not the author's fault. It's not Kentaro Miura's fault. But I don't like Father. What's his face? Um, I don't like the father. I think he's just weird, which is the point. But also, I just he's not a villain I can really engage myself with. I think that he's weird and whack. But the besides that, the Holy Chain Knights, I thought they were really good. I thought, oh my goodness, I forgot. Yeah, this arc has two of the best chapters in the entire story. With the, I forgot what it was called, cracks in the blade or something like that. I think that's what it was called. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, non-binary pals. Oh my goodness, those two chapters that came directly after each other, some of the best arcs or best panels, best chapters in Berserk. Not some of the best, because there are ones that come later on, but oh my goodness, they're so good. Genuinely so good. And that's what brought it up for me when I was doing the review. The hype off of those two chapters was genuinely amazing. Those chapters had me awestruck. I did not know what to do or how to talk about them. Excuse me. But those chapters genuinely just changed my perception of this manga and how insightful, how deep, how impactful this manga really can be when it is. You know, like put the fighting aside, put the gore, put the dark subject matter aside. This manga, it knows what it's doing and is doing it for a reason. Like those two chapters show me that for sure. And while I didn't like the second half of the conviction arc when it was like, oh, you know, we're in Abalon, I think is what it's called, Ibeon, in that city with the Holy Chain Knights and all that stuff with Luca and her, whatever her name is, the blonde hair girl who had the curls in her hair. It was like really poofy and fluffy. I didn't like her. I thought she was annoying. But you need characters like that in a story to have like the coward trope to show that not everybody's fallible or not everybody's infallible, like Guts, you know, or Luca or the knight that was with Luca, or Isidro or Serpico. Or Isidro isn't here yet. Oh shoot, or Serpico or stuff like that. Conviction arc, it has mixed feelings for me. I really enjoy it when I really enjoy it, but I also don't in some parts. Again, like the finale for it, like with the eclipse, it rubs me the wrong way. Not to say that it's not good. I did enjoy some of the eclipse of that second eclipse, but overall, it's just like, I'm ready to move on now. The beginning and the middle of this arc was great. The ending was alright to me. So that's why I put it third. But next we have Fantasia. And Fantasia, I put it here because I put it, oh, excuse me. Yeah, I put it there because it's not done. Fantasia is not done. It has like 70 chapters, close to 70 chapters done, but the arc itself isn't done. Maybe you'll finish soon because we just got to a point in the story where like if you end the story now, like this arc, I would understand because this seems like a climactic finale for this arc of the story right now, and you move on to the next one. But if it doesn't, I also wouldn't be surprised because Falcon of the Millennium Empire was really long as well, so it could go on even longer. It could be the longest arc in the series. But Fantasia, I really enjoyed it. The only thing that's holding back this arc for me is that there's not enough of it. You know, there's not enough released, and this is also the part where Kentaro Miura passed away. So, God rest his soul, new people are taking up the helm. So it's gonna be different going forward. Like the story probably gonna be the same. The plans for it are probably still gonna be what they were planned out to be, but the art style is gonna be different. It's trying to be as similar as possible, but there's just things that you can't emulate, like a person's style, that make them unique. The things that they learned and grew up on, how they were raised, how they developed their skill, you can't imitate it. Right? You can imitate it, but you can't completely one-to-one copy it, and that's just a sad truth. But I'm still enjoying Fantasia nonetheless. It feels like a better beginning to Falcon of the Millennium Empire, and that's not even saying like it as a bad thing. It's just like you take something that was already good and you improve it like so much more. And I just thought it was awesome. Like Fantasia really takes what we learned from Flora and just multiplies it by 100. It's so good. Really so good. I love Fantasia and I can't wait to see how it ends, how it continues, how the story progresses. Literally the characters are awesome, the setting is awesome, the just the world building for this arc as well with Alfhelm being expounded upon so much. It's like in One Piece when we finally get to Fishman Island and we see how just important this city really is to the world. It's like this Alfhelm, or it's not like this. It's more like this city is important, not to humans, but to everybody else. Like demons as well. Put them aside. Demons and humans not important. Any mythical creature that is has any good in their heart, this city Alfhelm is important to them. And I thought that made the city so much better because I thought it was just gonna be fairies. But no, it has witches as well, has golems, it has wicker men, it has all this stuff. And it just makes the island so much more alive and believable and cool. Like Fantasia, I could go on about for hours. I genuinely enjoy this arc, and it's not even done yet. So I can't wait to see how it concludes. Because man, the way that the last chapter ended for this for what's currently out, I'm so hyped. I'm genuinely so hyped. So yeah, Fantasia, it is the fourth well, actually, the second, the third best arc. There you go. Yeah, the third. And you see, you have Lost Children at the bottom, Black Swordsman at second bottom, Conviction in like the middle, basically. You have the third, and then you have Fantasia, which is like the upper third, the crust of the crust, you know. And now we have Falcon of the Millennium Empire. If you know the arcs for this, don't see that. If you know the arcs of this manga, you already know what's up at the top. But Falcon of the Millennium Empire, I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed it. And I forgot to mention, each arc in this manga has really good art, but Falcon of the Millennium Empire had some of the best. Like, oh my goodness, this art for this arc was so good. Kentaro Miura really knew how to draw horror, like complete and utter bewilderment and chaos and just evil. I don't know how he did it, but he just knew how to draw it. But he also knew how to draw hope. Like seeing the Band of the Hawk interact, or well, excuse me, seeing Griffith's Band of the Hawk interact was interesting. It gave us interest. It gave us information that we didn't have before. Seeing how Griffith interacts with the demons, with the humans, and with everybody in between. You know, like seeing Sonya, Mule, Charlotte, Grimhild, I think is what his name was. I forgot his name, but seeing the Lance guy, I forgot his name, but Locust, I think Locust or something like that. You have Owen and Laban, some of the best human characters in the entire story. They are so funny. They're so cool together. I have a panel of them literally just dapping each other up, bro. It's so good. Generally so good. But Griffith's side, as much as I don't like Griffith, and not like, oh, I don't like the character. It's more like Miura makes it so we don't like him, and that's how it's supposed to be, right? Like, I try to be as unbiased as possible when looking at Griffith. Like, yeah, he's a horrible person, but let me just look at what he's doing. Let me see what's going on, and that the fact that he's a horrible person is just a fact of life. There's no like, oh, malice or anything like that behind it. It's literally just like Griffith from Golden Age all the way up until now in Fantasia is a horrible person and will continue to be. He will not change. He will still be the same person. Now that he's has power, it just amplifies his negative traits, or at least negative traits to human beings. There is good in what he does in some sense because he's taking care of the people who, he's taking care of humans and he's uniting everybody. But he still is a horrible person. There's just no way around that. Griffith sympathizers stay molding. But yeah, what's it called? So the Falcon of the Millennium Empire, like that Millennium Empire, is crazy. It's genuinely crazy. It's cool to see seeing him battle Ganeshka, the Kushan, and just seeing how the world is building and forming, and how Guts doesn't need to be in the forefront to really be a part of an arc. And it shows because at the end of the arc, Guts isn't there. He's going to Elfhelm. And that's really cool. Like, it's like One Piece where Luffy doesn't need to be present in the manga or in the show to be like to have the world move along. He moves ahead of the story. So the story will move on regardless. It's just he will be a different part of it. Like with Berserk, Guts is doing his own thing. He's not following the story. He's following what he wants to do with his crew. And with his new Band of the Hawk, basically, they're doing what they can. And it's that, them, the new Band of the Hawk, basically, the Guts one, they are some of the best members of a group I've ever seen besides like One Piece or like Fullmetal Alchemist. Like, I love Guts's Band of the Hawk, his version. Serpico, Farnes, Evolera, Shirke, Isidro, Puck. You have Isma, who joins on later on, but she's in a different arc. You have Roderick, who's basically like a pseudo member. Or Isma, again, is also a pseudo member. Casca, or I guess Elaine, if you want to look at her like that. Like, whether it's Casca or Elaine, like temporary, basically. I don't know, but there's so many characters in this group that just have their own motives and whatever they're doing, and it's awesome. The way that they interact with each other, like how Serpico and Guts are both the strongest members of the group. Serpico because he has his wind cloak, and Guts because he has the berserk armor and his sword. But you have Casca and Farnes, who are basically like sisters at this point because of how close they are. You have Shirke and Farnes, who are master and student, where Farnes is the student. You have Isidro and Puck, who are basically the shonen pro tags, having Puck go from Guts, where he's always with him all the time, to going to Isidro now, where he's always with him now, basically fostering the new generation. And it's just like, I thought that change was so cool. Like, it makes Isidro and Puck annoying sometimes because they're basically the comedic relief. But when they're good, they're really good. I love it, honestly. But yeah, Puck has also been reduced to just comedic relief. When he's drawn in his full sprite, it shows like, yeah, this is serious. But when he's not, he's just a chibi version of himself. You have Evilera and Shirke as well, where they're like Guts and what Puck were in Black Swordsman. They're just together. They roam all the time. And now that Puck and Isidro are together, it's basically like a parallel of like boys and girls and stuff like that, with Shirke and Evilera as well. You have what's his dude's name? Guts and what's her name? Farnes, where Farnes really looks up to Guts the same way that Guts looked up to Griffith, except Guts isn't gonna betray them. Or at the very least, not now. I don't know if that's ever gonna happen, but Farnes really idolizes Guts. He helped her free him, basically, or excuse me. Farnes was helped by Guts unintentionally, and now she's one of the best characters in the entire series. You have Serpico and Farnes, where Serpico is her attendant, but in reality they're brothers. It's just Farnes doesn't know that. Roderick and Farnese were meant to get married, but now they're not. Like, it's all just so good. I love the new Band of the Hawk. I love them so much, even more than the old Band of the Hawk. But I'll talk about that later. But Falcon of the Millennium Empire has the mansion stuff with Skull Knight and Griffith and whatever the dude's name is with the giant hammer. It had the Albion, or no, it didn't. It had the orcs, basically the trolls. It had the Falcon of the Millennium Empire. It had that amazing scene. It had fighting Ganeshka. It had Guts and Zod fighting together, riding on each other. Like, Falcon of the Millennium Empire is one of the best arcs I've ever read in a story. It is really good, and for being how or for how long it is, it doesn't drag. I feel like it's one of the best arcs ever. It's really good, really really good, and I can't give it enough praise. I can make another video on it just talking about how good it is, but I should stop it here because like this video is already long enough. So let me just move on. Falcon of the Millennium Empire, second best arc in Berserk in my opinion. Next, oh, I forgot to mention that. This is just my opinion. This is all just my opinion. Even if it's the best or my favorite, both are all just my opinion. But oh, I spoiled that by the way. Don't worry about that. But Golden Age. Golden Age is the best arc in Berserk. There's just no way around that. Golden Age, if it didn't exist, Berserk wouldn't exist. That means Black Swordsman, Lost Children, Conviction, um, Falcon of the Millennium Empire, Fantasia. None of it would exist. The world of Berserk as we know it would not exist if it wasn't for Golden Age. And it just shows how important this arc is. But besides its importance, besides it being the one cog that keeps Berserk running, Golden Age is just good. Generally, it's just great. A masterpiece even. The only thing that I've given a 10 on my channel. Golden Age is amazing, and there's no other way I can put that. Literally, I don't know how else to describe it. Golden Age is good. It's great. It's a masterpiece. Like, the characters are awesome. The story moments in the manga are awesome. I feel like some moments like the war stuff can drag on a little bit, but this is important. We're going through Guts' life all the way up until the end of Golden Age, where Black Swordsman begins basically. We get to see Skull Knight, the God Hand. We get to see Griffith turn into Femto. We get to see Guts become the Black Swordsman. We get to see Casca mentally break and just see how horrible that truly is. We get to see Ricker and Erica and Godo meet and just them assimilating into becoming a family. We get to see Corcus, Pippin, Judo. We get to see all of Commander Guts' members, his friends. We get to see Guts go from a cold, unfeeling monster on the battlefield who slayed 100 men to a man who cares for Casca, for his crew, for even Corcus. Like, we get to see such an amazing transformation in a person. Two transformations, actually. We get to see two. We get to see Guts, we get to see Griffith. And man, I do not put this lightly. The eclipse is one of the most horrifying and amazing things to happen in this story, if not the best. And I just can't understate it enough. The Golden Age is amazing. Genuinely one of the best pieces of fiction I've ever read, and I cannot overstate that. Golden Age is amazing, and there's no other way to put that. I also want to mention, I like how Lost Children doesn't have a change in the world. Black Swordsman doesn't either. It's just more like an introduction to the world. Conviction Arc has a huge change. Huge change. It basically made like mythical creatures more visible to people. And now more people can see like fairies and demons and stuff like that. You can see them more apparently in the world. And that's really cool. I thought that the major arcs going forward during Conviction Arc onwards are really important. Like they show, well, actually, excuse me, Golden Age, Conviction Arc, Falcon of the Millennium Empire, and I guess Fantasia too. Actually, these arcs show like crazy changes and developments in the world. Black Swordsman shows a change in Guts, like shows how he is and how he will be for a long time. And Lost Children shows a change in Guts when he starts to change. But Golden Age, Conviction Arc, Falcon of the Millennium Empire, and Fantasia all show changes in the world. Golden Age with the Eclipse, basically bringing demons into the world and the Apostles, and just the interstice, introducing us to Skull Knight and showing what Zod really is and stuff like that. it changed the world dramatically. One of the biggest, if not the most important change to Berserk period. Again, Berserk wouldn't be what it is without Golden Age. And you have Conviction, where another eclipse happens, and it becomes a second important event in the world, where Griffith becomes Griffith. He's no longer Femto at this point. He's Griffith again. He's the Falcon at this point. And Griffith being reintroduced into the story changes the story because now the Band of the Hawk starts rebuilding. More people start joining Griffith, and Guts can finally go after Griffith himself. Like, he can kill him. And it just changes the story because we're also meeting new characters that will join Guts as well. The eclipse at the end of Conviction Arc is important, just as important. You have Millennium Empire, where this end of the story is really important because you have the world tree being made, and it it changes the world completely because now you can see the tree in the sky. That one wind chill literally changed the world of Berserk forever, and there's like, it's just as important as the eclipse because now like fairies and stuff like that are just more apparent. While demons are more apparent with the eclipse, this like wave of energy made fairies way more apparent, and just like all that stuff is happening where it's not safe to be outside of the Falcon of the Millennium Empire, you know, or excuse me, the Millennium Empire, Falconia. There you go. So it's just, that's literally another change. And you also have, what's this dude's name? Um, Fantasia, where Alfheim basically gets destroyed. This is a smaller scale, but the importance of it in the story is huge, genuinely huge. So I can't overstate this. But I just love how each arc in the story has their own change, and it impacts the world forever. Whether Guts is in there or not, whether he was in there in Conviction, Empire, or not. But yeah, let me go over to what's it called? Why these are my favorites. The reordered list of what I consider my favorites. So Conviction arc, my least favorite. I don't like it as much like as the other arcs. I feel like it has some of the best parts of the story, again with cracks in the blade and other stuff. But it just, it's not my cup of tea at this point. I've changed my opinion on it. It's a 7 to an 8 for sure, but it's not a 9 to a 10. For me, it's not. So next is Lost Children arc. Lost Children arc is good. I feel like again it doesn't overstay its welcome. Stuff like that. Everything I mentioned for this, except I just put it over Conviction arc. So yeah, Lost Children I think is better than this, but not like, well, I like it more. I don't think it's better. I like it more. But next you have Black Swordsman. Again, really great introduction. I really like Black Swordsman to the point where I would put it over Conviction and Lost Children. I think Black Swordsman is a great story, and I love it, honestly. It really got me to fall in love with Berserk for how short it really is. But next we have Golden Age. Golden Age, I already said what my piece on it. I think is great, but I like what comes next more. My favorite is not Golden Age. Fantasia. I love Fantasia. I think this arc is great, and again, if it finishes, I just can't wait. I can't wait to see what happens with it. I generally cannot wait. So Fantasia, the potential for it already has it above Golden Age. I might change this when the arc changes or finishes itself, but Fantasia so far, one of my favorites. Generally one of my favorites. And then talking to the Millennium Empire. This arc is great. There's just no other way to put it. I love this arc so much. Like, I can't understate or overstate how much I love this arc. Like, seeing the changes in Guts and seeing how he goes from what he was in Black Swordsman and even in Golden Age to what he is now, where he's calm, more, well, less reserved. He speaks his mind. He will talk to people. He still is the strong man that he is, but now he has to protect people. But he's not doing it alone because he has Serpico, Farnese, Shirke, Isidro, Evalera, Puck, Casca. Like, he has people to help him, and he still has people to protect. And it's, this Guts is a completely different man from what he was in Golden Age. Whole different person, completely. And I love it. Like, all of Guts' stuff. If Griffith wasn't there, this would be my favorite. Well, excuse me. Griffith doesn't make the arc bad. Like, I want to state that for sure. If Griffith wasn't there, is what I'm trying to say. If he wasn't there, it wouldn't matter. I think this arc is still amazing with or without him. He is important. Don't get me wrong. Griffith is a cog in the machine that makes the story go round. But I still like Gut Side a lot more because it is amazing and it really shows that there is hope in this world in Berserk. Such a bleak, despair filled universe is filled with hope if you can find it. And that's what I love about this arc. It's my favorite, and that's just how I feel about it. But yeah, thank y'all for watching. That's my tier list. Hope y'all enjoy. Let me know what you guys think down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think I'm stupid? Do you think I'm a genius? I don't know. No, your words, not mine. But I really enjoyed doing this. I love doing a tier list. I haven't done one in a while, but that's because I just didn't have the material for it. But I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed it. So, hope y'all enjoyed. Thank y'all for watching. I'll see you all in the next video with another Berserk video. There's still more to come, so don't worry. Berserk isn't done just yet. But yeah, hope y'all have a great rest of your day. And as always, I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.